The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Dobar dan svim sudionicima koji su se sad priključili. Evo, obavijestili bismo vas samo da ćemo sa seminarom početi za 2 minute dok se ne prikupe još sudionika. Molim vas, pričekajte još malo, pozdrav. Dobar dan. Evo, možemo polako početi. U ime LG-a i u ime Microlina, ovo je kratko predstavljanje LG distribucije, solara i solarnih dijelova. Pa čisto htio sam vas samo pozdraviti na početku, reći nekoliko stvari, pošto vas ima puno koji znate o Microlineu sve, ima vas dosta koji ne znate o Microlineu, znači ukratko mi smo IT distributer specijalizirani za IT, sad smo krenuli u segment energetike, imamo već 30 godina poslujemo, imamo sa LG-em odnos od 1997. godine i sad smo krenuli sa ovim segmentom. Tako da evo, u ovim i sljedećim seminarima ćemo upoznavati sa našim distribucijama. Ukoliko ćete imati kakvih pitanja, imate opciju questions, slobodno ih postavite, možete postaviti na hrvatskom, možete postaviti na engleskom, a nakon toga mi ćemo vam pokušati u prezentaciji, na kraju prezentacije će biti questions and answers, mi ćemo vam dati onda informacije ukoliko ćemo moći. Ukoliko je nekakvo kompleksno pitanje, onda ćemo vam naknadno poslati odgovor. Prezentacija se snima, mnogo korisnika je tražilo da imaju problema sa priključivanjem u ovo vrijeme. Prezentacija se snima, tako da ćemo vam ovu prezentaciju mi poslati i objavit ćemo je. Čisto upozoravam vas da znate da će prezentacija biti objavljena. Evo, to je ono da ispoštujemo GDPR. Još jedna stvar, evo, ukoliko ne znate o Microlineu, mi poslujemo 30 godina, evo, krećemo i u ovaj segment. Ukoliko ćete imati kakvih pitanja, možete za Microline direktno kao distributera, možete se javiti na mail zelene energije@Microline i to je otprilike to. Stefan, can you please start with presentation? That's all from me. Goodbye, folks.
Thank you very much for your introduction. I have not understand anything, but I think it was very nice. Welcome from my side. I try something. I hope that it will work. So I try to present you with a subtitle. So hopefully the subtitle will work from English to Croatian. And so when you miss a word in English, maybe the right translation is below the slides. Thank you, Milan. Thank you for being our customer. Thank you for giving us the possibility to present us here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for all you participants, because we have a large number of participants, and that is very good, because it also means that the issue, the topic we are speaking about, solar photovoltaic, is very important for many of you. As you see, the logo LG, and LG is one of the most famous brands in the world. We are not on the same stage like Apple or Google, but just very little below. So many of you already use LG products in your home, or you have contact with an LG product in a hotel, in a train station, or an airport, because there are many places where you find our product. And the advantage for you is you don't need to explain your customer where the product comes from. 25 years, you see it on the right at the corner. I will start with my laser pointer here. You will see it. 25 years of warranty is what we provide you and your end customers on warranty with our modules. So we warrant for you that 25 years you will not have any electrical defect or mechanical defect on the module if it's proper installed, for sure. And therefore you will have 25 years minimum of lifetime. And 25 years of warranty, for some companies, it's more or less a marketing slogan. So they print just the 25, or I have seen last week that somebody is now printing 40 years on his prospect, but when you take a look to their stock rate, it's going down. So, well, don't speak bad about competitors, but we need to compete with competitors and with other manufacturers. And when you see the graph here, the big red here, that is the turnover of LG Electronics Incorporated. So the big LG company that backs up our warranty. And therefore, we have a real safe warranty for you and your customers. So 25 years is a long time, and we are already 60 years in the European market, and therefore you can rely on us. And the big amount of turnover don't just come from solar. So solar is a small piece in LG Electronics. When you take a look where we are from, the most famous, of course, are our TV sets. OLED technology changed the world of TV sets, especially when you are a movie fan or a fan of soccer, for example. We are market leader in those side-by-side fridges in Australia, USA, UK. In Germany, the kitchens are a bit smaller, so therefore it doesn't fit so good in our houses. But we are also very innovative. So what you see here is the font of an Mercedes EQA. It's an electronic car, and the whole EQ series from EQA to EQS has an LG display inside, where you have all the driver information things inside, like speed and so, but also the full entertainment system. And especially on the EQS, it's 1.50 meters long. And this is real entertainment. I don't know how you can drive with that car when you have so much entertainment, but that's a different thing. And of course, many people don't know it so much. We are also producing laptops, a very strong one, very lightweight. I also use one, and with just 1 kilo and 15-inch, so very nice things. And what I want to bring up here as a message is that everybody is producing electronic products when you're an electronic company, but LG is always a bit beyond the things. So we think a bit more what could be useful. And just a small example, I don't want to sell you a fridge, but when you put your feet about here on the bottom of the fridge, a red dot points on the ground, and you put your feet down and the door opens. So these are little things that makes life easier, and life is good, and innovation for a better life is the slogan of us. And today we are focusing on the modules. We are also producing energy storage systems, as well as air water heat pumps, to complete the portfolio around energy. And normally I'm speaking for the big German market or Italy or UK markets. And today we are together, let's say, in a bit smaller market. But small could be also very beautiful. And when you think on, does it make sense to invest in solar even in Croatia? I have to say yes, of course, because you have at least 30% more sun than we have in Germany. So you will gain much more energy out of 1 kilowatt peak installation. And I'm not so sure about the background of all of the participants, so I will try to explain it in a way that it's grabbable for you. So when we take a look where we are today in Croatia, today we are around 166 megawatt of installation. When I wanted to say, or when I said I wanted to make it a bit easy for you, I give you an idea about megawatt. Yeah? I hope you can see my board very well. So 166 megawatt is 166 million watt. So before megawatt, we have kilowatt. And kilowatt is something where we could work with. Kilowatt is something that is grabbable, let's say. Yeah? Because when you have a normal household, you have approximately 3,000 or 4,000 kilowatt hours. Oh. And kilowatt hours means 1 hour power brings you up to kilowatt hours. So to gain 3,000 kilowatt hours of energy out of the sun in Croatia, I would expect you need to have to install 2.7 kilowatt of installation. Yeah? So for one household, 2.7 kilowatt and 166,000 kilowatt you have already installed. Just to bring the numbers in an interesting level. But the target you have already set by your government is 668. And That's a good way to go. But you see, the 22% you have done in the last, let's say, 4, 5, 6 years, and you need to quadruple it, so 4 times, and you have to done it or to do it in 8 years. So that's challenging. Huh? So 600 megawatts to go in less than 10 years. This is one of the key challenges. Another challenge is how to penetrate the market, how to stimulate the market that you get a push and pull effect. Yeah? That means auctions is a good instrument. An auction means the government says, okay, we want to buy a specific amount of energy made by PV. And then companies, installing companies can say, okay, we want to participate on that auction. It's a kind of tender system. And you make an offer what the kilowatt hour or the megawatt hour cost when you will produce it, and how much of those megawatt hours you can provide and where. And then in a normal tender process, sometimes the lowest, sometimes the average price wins, and then everybody could decide to produce energy at that price, or just small numbers of auctions will win. But anyhow, this is a driver, because auctions are just made for bigger megawatt installations. And half of the target should come from the prosumers, so the households. And this is a part where we are mostly familiar with. So LG products you mainly find in those households. So now we are speaking about 300 megawatt of private installation. And this is the market where we are now focusing on. The solar industry itself was suffering a lot last year, because we had a problem with prices. Sorry, I missed to translate that. But just for you to give you an imagination what that meant. We had in January 21, we had a price of $10.5 per kilo silicon. And silicon is the basement of each solar module, because that solar cell here is made out of silicon, and you have 66 of those big cells in one of the modules. So biggest part, 50% about of the module price comes from silicon. So the silicon price rised up by factor 2.8 within just 6 months. And that was a shock for the industry. So prices rise up because when you have silicon, that's a kind of powder. You take that powder and melt it into something that is called ingot. So it's a big block of those, let's say, cells in one block. And then you cut it down in gray plates, and those are wafers. Wafers is the first step before you produce a solar cell, because the wafer is a basement, and wafer is out of silicon. So even with a wafer price, it went up by 50% within 5 months, and it went also further up. So this was a big problem in the industry last year, and it's also a kind of barrier for big investors, because they have calculated their returns, they have calculated all the equity they need to install a megawatt system somewhere in the world, and now the prices went up. And normally solar prices just know one direction, or knew just one direction, that was down. And additional to that, when something goes bad, there's always a possibility to get it worse. The transportation costs were also rising. And now we are somewhere here at 4,000, sometimes $5,000, and that means 5 times higher transportation cost. It's also a kind of stock exchange with containers. So it could be that when everybody wants to send their containers on Monday, that you have to pay $11,000. And when you want to send it on Wednesday, it could be just 6,000. But that range is long ago, even when it's just half a year or 1 year. But it will, I guess, it will never come back again. So these are the points, just in general, to give you an idea what the market is about, what we are doing. And now we come to the product itself. So we are speaking about solar modules. Behind me, you see one of those solar modules. They are beautiful today because in the past you always knew or saw those, let's say, blue plates with a lot of white and silver frames, and I call them ugly installations. And now we have changed the market a bit. When LG Solar started 11 years ago with PV installations or with PV modules, we started to have a black frame, to go for aesthetic. And when you take a look to our product portfolio, we have on the left-hand side the best you can get, I would say, because you have here in the smaller version with 60 cells, a module with up to 405 watt on 1.8 square meter roughly. And the most impressive thing here is on year one, you have, or when you buy it, you have, for example, 400 watt. And after 25 years, you have at least 92.5% left. And when anybody is asking for, I need to have security for my investment, because it is a big investment when you buy and install a PV system, you can say, okay, here you have a product that works at day one, almost similar as it will work at day in year 25. Almost the same. I mean, 92.5%. When you buy a car, a new car, brand new car, out of the factory, you lose 30% of the value just when you put the plate on, even when you have not drove any round. Yeah? And here we are speaking about more than 90%. At more than 90%, you also get in our other modules. To the technical details, I will come in later slides. But here that is, let's say, the premium one, and these two are more or less the standard ones. So 84% of our whole production and of our whole turnover in solar is made by those two modules. We call it N1C, the neon H. It is a half-cut cell module. So those cells with a white backsheet, then it's neon H white and neon H black when we have here a black backsheet. All three modules are made for residential application. They all have a black frame, a very, very aesthetic design. And for project business, we had last year also another module in our portfolio, but this is already end of life and not more available. And also end of life will be those three modules, let's say. But the first that will be phased out during this quarter is the Neon H with the black foil, and we will have something that you can use furthermore. But the modules are going to be bigger because it's a matter of production costs. So everybody in the industry is moving to bigger panels, but from LG side we try not to be as big as others. I mean, you can buy a 700 watt module with, I don't know, 3 meter on 150 or something like that. Crazy dimensions. These modules are not made for roofs. These modules are made for ground mounted installation. And as mentioned before, that module is already sold out. And this is where we go for now. It's also Neon H, but it's Neon H plus black. So what have we done? We have used the Neon H module, put one row of double half-cut cells above, and we eliminated the space between the cells. So the little space you see here between those two half-cut cells, we eliminated them and also bring them a bit above each other to have a very smooth connection between those two cells. In numbers, it means we have 132 cells up to 410 watt in one module, and with an outstanding warranty and technical details. So just to give you an idea what we mean, or what a front ballast of 6,000 Pascal means. That means 870 kilos of snow load on the module, and 5,400 on the back means that you can have a wind of more than 300 kilometers per hour, and it will not harm your module. I don't know about the roof, but the module will be stable. So we have an efficiency of 20.9%. That means that you have 209 watt per square meter, to make it on a very easy way. And that means you get a lot of energy out of 1 square meter, because sometimes roofs are limited and therefore efficiency matters. I said it's a bit bigger, but 1 meter 88 on 1 meter and 4 is still below 2 square meter. And due to the fact that we have thinner glass than others, but even still very strong glass, our weight is below 20 kilo in that module. I already said the wind and the snow load is very strong in our modules, and of course we have a frame that is 40 millimeter thick, and therefore we have that strong durability. Others just have 35, and then you might have a problem with snow. And guarantor is LG Electronics, as I said in one of my earliest slides. And with the Neon H plus black, you have at least 90.6% of the output energy, or the initial energy power after 25 years. And available from Q2 in bigger portions. There are already some in Europe, but they are already sold out. But for projects in the second half, I would recommend you just to use the new modules. And why we have done that? I mean, elimination of spaces is always an issue to bring you more power, but it's also some work in the factory to change the manufacturing process and so on. But it's really worth. And when you take a look to the back, it's really black. I mean, that is not the module we are speaking about, but it looks similar, just from just from the appearance. And the appearance we do with our, excuse me, the appearance we realize with our cells, because we have a special process how we handle the cell production. And with LG modules, you always produce more energy. And most people are always asking why. And when you have a very deep black, that means that your eye cannot see any reflection. And when you don't see any reflection with your eye, that means that all light that comes in stays in the module and produces energy. That is the second effect. And for sure, we have a very nice glass. So it's a very thin glass and a very, very clear glass, because when you have a bottle like that, that is also clear glass, but not as clear as you need to have it for solar modules. And of course, you also need to have a good connection between the cells. So these little connection points are more or less not visible when you are 5 meters away. So people just see a black plate or a lot of black plates on the roof, and that is what we call a very aesthetic installation. And to have it aesthetic, we matched the backsheet color, so the color you see here, and the frame color with the cells to have a very nice appearance. The same module, but with a white backsheet, and here you see where is backsheet. So due to the gap-free technology, you have not so much spaces, but there is still some white visible. Also, that module has a black frame, but due to the white backsheet, you have more power, because our cells are not only active on the front side, they are always bifacial. And bifacial means the back side is also producing energy if light appears. But when you have a black foil, there is no reflection possible. And with the white one, you have a little bit, and therefore you are not at 410 watt, you are at 420 in maximum, and also a little bit more efficiency than with the other ones. But in general, 25 years warranty, the same dimensions, the same weight, the same durability as the one before, and of course, the same 25 years with 90.6% of power. And also available from Q2. Sorry, I need to take some more water. And here's some more details, what we are doing here or what we have done and why. First, we have a half-cut cell. When you have the difference between a half-cut cell and a full-size cell, especially because the cells are going bigger and bigger, when you combine that here, it is, I would say, 2 or 3% bigger than the old cells we have used in that module 3 years ago. But the electricity that goes through, the power that each cell is rising, and therefore you have I missed a word. Yeah. Therefore, you stress. You have more stress on the cell, and when you cut it, you reduce the stress. And with the gap-free technology, you reduce it even more because the temperature goes a bit down. Because you don't have those wires, and always when you have a wire with electricity, it heats a little bit up. And with that overlapping connection, you have less of that, and therefore, a better electricity output. And channel cello means that you have low power losses due to those wires. In some companies, they also call it multi-wire technology, because in the past you had 5 or 6 bigger wires that were on the solar cell, and now many of the manufacturers also do the same, like we are doing for I think more than 6 years when we have introduced that technology. And last but not least, the heart. The heart of our module is the N-type cell. And it sounds maybe a bit special, because why he's saying N-type? There's a difference between a P-type cell and an N-type cell. And the biggest difference is, first of all, the production process. So with a P-type cell, you have, I think, 9 production processes to have a finished cell. And with N-type, you have about 13. So we have 4 production steps more. But those steps are bringing more value into the cell, bringing more function into the cell. Because, as I said before, we have this dark cell appearance, and that comes from that more processes. And what we're doing, I will tell you later. And here, this is our premium product. I like it most because it has one of the highest efficiencies in the market. So you have 221 watt per square meter. And especially when you normally, or let me start again. In the past, I said always, when you have no space on the roof or just low space, use that module, because then you have the maximum power on the roof. But today, when you see the rising electricity prices, in Germany, the prices rise from 28 euro cent up to 42 within 3 months. And when I see the news in Croatia, you are now at, I think, 13 cents for households, a bit lower, I guess, for commercial. But there are also plans to almost double it. And therefore, we have to change our mind. It's not a matter of how much power I install on the roof. Of course it is. But how much kilowatt hours I get out of my roof. And here, you have the best choice for that. Because when the module heats up, for example, that type of module does not lose so much power as others. So here's a factor of 0.29, and the standard competitor modules are at 0.4. That means when you have 25 degrees of module temperature, the module here has 440 watts. But when the temperature goes up, the power goes down a bit. And that is the standard effect you have in all silicon products, like a processor of a computer, or when your mobile gets hot, it's getting slow. It's the same effect. And as clean as you choose silicon, so then we are back at the sourcing process. When you have very clear silicon with less carbon inside, with less oxygen inside, then you can minimize the degradation risk. But therefore, the product itself must be a bit more expensive, because we choose the better basics for the product. But also how much impact that has, I will show you a little later. So just checking the time where we are. Okay. That module, 440 watt, I said it before, 22.1% efficiency. That module is a bit bigger. because you still have the gaps here. Because we have a full cell, and what you don't see here, but on another slide, is how the cells are connected, and then you will know why we have those gaps. But also here, same durability, stability as the modules we have shown before. But here, the very special here is the warranty, 92.5% of initial power after 25 years. So we also could say maybe 30 years or 40 years with 85%, but nobody could see so long in the future. But we do a lot of tests, so we are very sure that 25 years at least our modules will work, and that is what we guarantee with our whole company. And also that big module is available the second quarter. Temperature coefficient, I said it before. So all modules lose a bit, and that is how it impacts the power of the module. So when we start both modules at 440 watts on a hot summer day, our module still is at 376 watt, what is producing, and the competitor module only 363 watt. So that means 13 watt or 4% less. And that is just because of the difference in the temperature coefficient. And standard modules, as I said before, that are on the market are even below. That means 0.4 or worse. And then you gain more than just 4%. But that is module power. So it doesn't mean energy. But in terms of energy, when you have 75 degrees module temperature, that is the standard summer temperature when you have when you are in July or August. That means during the whole day you're producing more energy, and on that summer days that means 2.8% more kilowatt hours. And I said before, kilowatt hours are getting more expensive, so your savings are even bigger. How we manage that? We have all the wires, all the connection wires you see here, those tello wires. We have moved them on the backside, and we have moved them on the backside, and we have a lot of those wires on the backside. And therefore, we were able to reduce electrical losses, because when you think on a motorway, on a highway, and you have a traffic jam with 2 lines, when you use 4 lines, you will not have a traffic jam when you have the same amount of cars. So therefore, the flow is much better, and that results in more kilowatt hours. And also the appearance is very nice. Sometimes people say, okay, that module is a bit more expensive, but it's really worth to check it. So what I always suggest my installers, when I speak with installers, I always say to them, okay, don't use that module as a joker when somebody is asking, do you have something special? Show that module as a standard, because when you have shown the customer one of the best modules on the market, you explain everything very well, and then you say, okay, and from the same company you also could get that module, is a bit less in power, but therefore it's also a bit lower in the price. Most of the customers want to have some more expensive module. And this is my my main argument. Well, the main argument after the brand is just look what you get after 25 years. After 25 years, we warranty 92.5% of output power. And when you take a look where others are at 10 years, they are almost at the same size, or no, sorry, they are below. Yeah? So our module has more power after 25 years than others after 10. And therefore, it's worth to spend some more money. Here I will go through very quick. It's an overview. I guess Milan said that we will share that presentation with you, so then you can see and read everything, because you all of you can read, so I don't need to do that for you. But here is the main difference, what I want to show. The Neon H Black in the current version is at 1 meter and 76 centimeters, and we have now 12 centimeters more, but therefore also some more power. And same with the Neon H2 white. Oh, sorry, here was white and with the black. And also the Neon R, because we added another row of cell, is a bit bigger than before. So before it was that size, and now we are at 1 meter 91. This is everything from the portfolio in general. And when I take a look to the time, we are very good in the time. So we have set 1.5 hours now for the total session. And as we are good in time, I would suggest to have 4 minutes of break and to return at 10:50. And then we go through the USPs. So talk to you in now 3 minutes. Okay, I hope you are all back. And then we will continue with our next part, our USPs. USP means unique selling point. And in the meantime, some of our USPs are, let's say, just selling points. But most of them were, when we designed our modules, we were the first to do that. So we keep USPs, and one of the real USPs and the most valuable USP is, of course, our logo. You show LG and the logo like the small button I have here, and everybody knows. LG stands for innovation, high quality, and yeah, a good design. And therefore, a lot of people, when they see that logo, they have a very good impression. And we use it, of course. And as I mentioned at the early beginning of that webinar, when you come to your customer and show them a data sheet of LG with the LG logo, or you say them or tell them, listen, I want to offer you a module of LG. You save a lot of time because you don't need to explain the company. When you use any Chinese name of those manufacturers that nobody knows, where some of them have their main headquarter on Cayman Islands or something like that. So it's also somehow risky when you think on the warranties. We do more than others. We do it for us. We do it, but also for you, because when we do a lot of hard tests on our modules, we can secure that you have a product and your customer has a product that lasts for more than 25 years. So the standard is that you have 2 big long time tests. It's the first, these are called humidity and thermal cycle tests. That means you have 200 cycles where you bring the module or the chamber where the module is in. It's a kind of climate chamber. You heat it up to 85 degrees, and then you lower the temperature down to -40. And you do it 200 times. And after 200 times, the output power must be the same as it was at the beginning. That is the standard test. And we double it. Another test is you have to put the module in the same climate chamber at 85 degrees and a high humidity, so 85% of humidity, and that for 1,000 hours. And the same result must come out, so module don't lose any power. And also here we do it 2,000 hours. And what we are doing here, or what the test wants here, is to simulate the different weather conditions during the lifetime. And we double that. And 2,000 hours, just to give you an idea, the year only has 8,600 and something hours. So a quarter of a year, what we do always. And with the Neon R, I said before, you gain more power. You could you take more kilowatt hours out of the kilowatt you are installing. And due to the high efficiency, so due to the fact that you get more power per square meter on your roof, you could install more power and therefore get more energy out. Sorry for the German here, but the difference could be big. When you see here, 400 watt module, 20 pieces, means 8 kilowatt. On the same area, the same roof area, you get with a When we go here for a P-type mono PERX, that is one of the standard modules on the market, you just get 7 kilowatt installed on the same space. And efficiency matters because you gain more kilowatt hours in general out of our modules, but additional when you have more installed power. And you might say, okay, today I have just 3,000, 4,000 kilowatt hours in my house that I'm using, or my customer has it, but you need to think on the future. Even in Croatia, all sectors will go for renewables, all sectors. I mean, not just the electricity for households, but also the mobility sector and the heating sector. So when you think on, maybe we have to install an heat pump, an air water heat pump in the house, you have additional need for electricity. Then you have an electronic car in the next few years. You have additional need for electricity. And you don't go in 5 years to your vendor and say, listen, I have installed the system 5 years ago and I want to have the same modules because I want to double the size now. These modules will not be available because the technique goes on. And normally you have a lifetime of a module. I mean, production lifetime before a new series comes up is 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. But then you have a new generation. Mostly it's a bit bigger and therefore it does not fit. So invest now in the future and think on the future. As I said before, we are doing a lot of things it's the first time before others are doing it. And that's because we have a very strong R&D department. We have more than 1,000 patents on just based on solar products. So the majority is our cell technology, but we have we hold also patents of other cell technologies. And when you compare it with other bigger companies, you see a big difference. But they produce more modules. And how they do it? Yeah, they just wait after 5 or 10 years when the patent timing is over and it's free to use, then they use the patents of others. Or they pay a little money to people who have realized new technologies. And just LG, SunPower and Panasonic are really investing in R&D and bringing up new technologies, because we have our N-type cell and the back contacted cell. It's also called ICU in the solar world. No, IBC, sorry. And SunPower is doing the same. And Panasonic is also using good cells and put an additional layer on that, just to give you an idea why these three companies are big in the number of patents, because we have all of us have something special. We have own laboratories. So I recommend, highly recommend our LG Solar Global YouTube channel. You can see a lot of those tests, what we are doing. Hail test. So we have a cannon and we shoot an ice ball of that size onto the module. So the ice ball crashed on the module and the module is still working. And nothing is destroyed, just the ice ball. But it's very impressive to see, or even those fire tests. We are able to do every of those tests in-house because we are certified by a large number of international certification bodies. And we're the only one who have those certification bodies from 4 different ones. And so we have VDE, TÜV Rheinland, UL, and Intertek. And with those four, you can cover the whole world on a very professional manner. This slide is a base slide with the next one for a 1-hour webinar on the techniques of our cell. But to make it visible for you what the main difference is, because the colors you don't see. I mean, the cell has is very thin, 0.1518 millimeters. But inside there is something possible where you can make it better. So when you have the front, on the front you have normally silver. In almost all modules and cells, you have silver as the front electrode, because silver is very good in terms of efficiency and reduces a very good the losses when you transport electricity. So everybody using copper, a part of silver in the front. But then on the back side, you need to do the same. And on the back side, most companies said, well, the back side, we don't care. And at LG, we have that bifacial. You remember, we also gain electricity from the back side. And therefore, we also use silver at the back side and not aluminum as most of the companies. And inside the cell, we have more processes. I said 4 processes more. And with those processes, we are gaining those extra layers here inside. And those extra layers brings us, first of all, a uniform black. Because when you have that gray plate, the wafer, you have to do a texturing. So you go with a chemical process over the wafer, and then it looks like that when you go into a microscope view. So it means you have some hills on the cell that the light comes in and stays a little bit in the cell. And we do that process 2 times. So we have a double texturing, and therefore, when the light comes in our cell, it doesn't find a way out. And when light does not find a way out, it looks dark, very, very dark. And that has an additional effect, because the light spectrum we can use is bigger, and therefore we gain more electricity out of our modules. The temperature coefficient I already mentioned when I spoke about the neon R. Here is the standard coefficient we have with our normal modules, 0.33. And here I combine it, or I compare it with 0.39, which is which you can find on the market, let's say. The numbers here are more or less for Western European countries, so it must be lower in your country. But we gain at least 1% additional yield. So on a 10 kilowatt system in Germany, that means 1,000 kilowatt hours. In Croatia, it means 1,300 kilowatt hours. And when you multiply that, you have a lot of kilowatt hours during 25 years. And that also means a lot of more money. Maybe it's not 500, maybe in Croatia it is maybe 300, but it's still an additional amount you could you could get out of our modules. And I said before, our warranty is better than others. So during 25 years, we say our module power does not go down as others do. So we limit it to 90.6% in the Neon H Plus series or Neon H, and 92.5 at the Neon R. And when you combine that with 84% of a competitor module, which is really, that is a standard, 85%, 84%, that is what you normally get as a warranty after 25 years, performance warranty. But imagine when you have just 12 or 15 years of product warranty and your junction box goes up, falls up, down, sorry, then you don't have any energy and you don't have any performance warranty or any warranty that covers that. So you're very safe when you use LG modules, 25 years, and nothing could happen. So you could sleep really well when you sell our modules. And in total, the guarantee amount of energy that you gain more with our product is roughly 35,000 kilowatt hours in a 10 kilowatt system. And also here, when we use 20 cent as a value, it is roughly 7,000 euro. But 20 cents, maybe it is the price in Croatia next year, or hopefully not so fast for you. But it's definitely not the electricity price which we will pay in 10 years. So the price will rise again or more or further. And therefore, those 7,000 will grow a lot. Yeah. Everything together, you're on the safe side when you buy LG modules or your customers buy LG modules. First of all, you have a real reliable brand with innovative products, a well-known brand, and therefore from the company very easy to sell, because you can use that brand name, that logo. We also provide you with a lot of print products for your customer that you could order in our web shop. When you become LG Pro partner, you also have a budget for that, so it's free of cost for you, and you can use it at your customer and show how strong the brand is. And when you show the strong brand LG Electronics, it is also shown that you are strong. So we can win together on that market. That's all marketing and product information. Now I want to show you a little service what we do. Insun is an Italian software company, because we all need software. When you have just a few installations, a few private installations, I would not need any software, because I'm 22 years now in the market. And when I started, there were no software available to know how much module fits on the roof and which inverter you need to use and so on. We had to calculate that manually. But today, we also want to give our end customers some more value. So they not just only get a prospect, they get a full set of documents, where it's shown what they could expect from the system during the years, how the system looks, etc. And to do that, we need a computer program, or we need to type a lot of pages and draw a lot of things. But the computer program could help us. And here we have Insun. Insun is a 3D simulation tool. It works with Google as database, so Google Maps, and it's almost easy to do it. I mean, when you are used to use computer programs, let's say, when you work very familiar with Word or Excel or so on, you will also manage that. So I would guess the first simulation will take you 1 hour, 1 hour 15 or something like that. But when you have done the fourth or fifth one, it's between 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It depends on the complexity of the system. But what you can do here is, first you define the place. So you search your address at Google Maps inside the program here. Then you grab a little piece out of that. Then you define the surroundings and you define the building. How high is the building? Because when you have a flat roof system, for example, you need to know how much ballast you need to set on. And yeah, you see, you could place everything on roofs when you have a chimney or an AC system installed, or when you even want to put some windows inside. Yeah? So it's a full 3D planning program. And when you have defined the building, you check how is the sun going. And the yellow lines here is the horizon changing during the year, month, and time. And when you have chosen the size or the place, you have defined the size, and then you say, okay, here in red, that is the place where I want to put my modules on. Because here on the flat roof, the Attica, you have to have some space between, not just because of the shadow, also because of the weight. You define that, and then you can do an automatic module placement. And what you can see here is a shadow analysis. So the program checks with a database where is the sun at which time and how does the surroundings have an impact. So here you have a higher building on the right, and therefore you have a little bit of shadow on that few modules. And the program also checks if it's a big shadow, so does it has an impact during the whole year or just within 2 months or so, and then you can just click on the module and delete it if you don't want to have that. So this is the shadow simulation, and this is how it could look like. And you also can do the string connection inside. The string configuration is automatically, if you like. You also could change everything what you want. You have a couple of inverters inside. The program shows you which inverter is suitable for the system or which string combination is suitable for the system, and then you just choose which one you want, and then you see on the picture how colorful it comes, because each color means one string. And in the end, we have a very nice documentation sheet with several slides and a lot of information for your end customer, as well as a complete documentation of things that you need to have inside. And also it does a single line diagram, for example. Also some nice features. At the end of the program, then you can do 2 things. And one of them is very special for LG, designed. For sure, you can put self-consumption inside, that you need, that you know how much of the energy you are producing you could consume at the building. And you could also calculate the return on invest, because you have a place where you put all the costs inside, and then you compare it, the investment with the outcome, and then you have a return. And you also could combine or compare an LG module with a competitor module. And you see, okay, That is the energy I get out when I use LG module, and that is the energy I get out when I use another module. I don't want to mention any names. And you also could print that out, and that is something that you have here, and also with very nice graphics inside. And yeah, the good thing in the program for you is, first of all, it is free of charge. So when you don't need any support, you have no single costs. When you are LG Pro partner, you get the support for free and some extra features. And it is cloud-based. So therefore you can use it from each computer, I think also with a tablet, I'm not 100% sure, but from each computer, from each web browser, Chrome, Firefox, something like that, or Microsoft Edge. And you also could have more accounts with one company. So you can work on the same product, on the same project with different people, not at the same time, but everybody on its own computer, because the most common programs are installed on the computer. So you need to have a strong machine that is able to do those 3D calculation, shading calculation, and it takes sometimes just 10 minutes to wait for the shading analysis for the result of it. As I said, it's cloud-based. So therefore, you need just an internet connection. 20,000 megabits per second is good to have, but the most working processes are done on the server inside the cloud. So therefore, you don't need to have that extra. Okay, I'm done. I've finished my presentation, and now I would say, Milan, how is about the questions?
Stefan, first of all, thank you very much for your presentation, for your time. Not only you, all LG team. The presentation was most illuminating. So the second thing, what I want to share one question what was asked, and it is quite interesting. And I know what is diplomatic answer, so I will give it to you because it is a little bit tricky. Can you tell us why LG don't sell inverters and other equipment like battery hybrid systems, because the partners are interested to offer whole portfolio?
We do. That is, I guess, the most diplomatic answer I could do.
Yeah, you're right.
We do. So we are producing inverters. We are producing battery systems, and we combine it in one LG Home system. So we have two, LG Home 8 and LG Home 10. And with both systems, you can choose between a 10 kilowatt or 16 kilowatt battery, and you can build two of those batteries in each system. So between 10, 16, 20 or 32 kilowatt hours is possible with that system. The matter is you need to have a certification for each single country. And sometimes the electricity grids are different. I mean, when you have a house installation, is it a three-phase installation or a one-phase installation, Milan?
Most of three-phase, most of the time.
Okay, okay. When it's three-phase, then we are fine with our product. So in that case, we just need to have a kind of certification process in Croatia.
We are in the European Union, we can handle it, I think. So we are here prepared to offer.
Yeah, but you need to follow the grid code, the local grid code. Yeah, and the difference, sometimes the difference is very little. For example, In one country, when you have a grid fault, then you have to have 500 milliseconds of reaction time of the inverter. Huh?
Yeah.
In another country, it's 600. The next country, 400.
It is quite different.
That is
To
that's a
fulfill all
problematic.
needs. Yeah. Okay.
But we go one by one. So we have the certifications for almost all Western Europe part. We also are in the process with Poland, and we are also willing to bring that product also to the rest of Europe. But at the moment, we are struggling, like most of that battery industry, with the limited availability of chips, because we have the inverter that is transferring the DC to AC for your house. Then we have the DC-DC converter that brings the energy from the module inside the battery, and then the one who brings the energy from the battery inside the house back. And all three components need a lot of chips. So therefore, it's a bit limited at the moment, and therefore we have to, sorry to say that, we have to serve mainly the main market for those storages, and that is actually Germany. We could sell at least 5 times more than we have available. But we have a good roadmap also for Eastern Europe, but that is something where we should speak about, let's say, mid of the year. So June, I would say, then we can say something that is reliable with dates and product.
Thank you. I would like to say one more thing to all attendants and participants.
Sure.
We prepared some special gifts, or better say discounts for equipment. So all attended will be have opportunity to get additional discount for LG products. So please feel free to contact us with orders, and the discount will be included. One more thing, we have a few items available right away. Some items is in order process. You see the availability list. Some items will be available in next quarter. So situation is very tricky, and we will. I think that with this situation, the demand will increase, and we will try to provide the distribution as a proper LG distributor. So thank you all for your time, and I hope, not I hope, I believe that we will have more LG webinars. This is more introduction. I know that some of audience have all this knowledge. Sorry for that, but with time I think that it will be good that we have some specialized trainings maybe for this application what you present. I think it is a great opportunity, and the situation is perfect for this business. Thank you.
Yeah,
all.
when you what we can offer from our side is when you or one of the participants or your customers thinks on something special. For example, what we are doing is in-sun special webinars. There we show in 45 or 50 minutes how to use the tool. The next one is next Wednesday. We have an English session and a German session. So the English one is at 3 o'clock next Wednesday. Milan, I guess our team will share the link with you,
Yes.
that you also could share that.
I will forward it too.
That is very helpful, I guess. No, it's in 2 weeks. 2 weeks on the 23rd.
Okay.
Next week, when you're interested in, I will have my next webinar, and this time it will be focused on sales. how to sell a premium product and to use that premium product values for your sales and how to maximize your sales. So also that link will be shared with all of you, Milan, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
I have all
hope to see you again next week.
Yeah, thank you. And take care and nice weekend to you all.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.